Hi, Sean here from Capricorn Mohair Socks. I'm going to tell you about my journey I've just completed. I've just completed what's called the Spine Challenger North. This is a 160-mile event which I completed in 86 hours and 12 minutes. Here's my certificate and my medal to say I've completed this event. This is a non-stop ultra event which I went along the Pennine Way. I started at a place called Hardraw near Hawes in the Yorkshire Dales and walked the whole of the northern section of the Pennine Way and eventually finished at Kirkietum in the Scottish borders. I went continuously, went through a number of checkpoints where I slept for maybe 3/4 of an hour at one of the checkpoints. But the majority of the time I just slept en route, day after day, over those 86 hours, over a massive amount of climbing. It was truly the hardest thing I've ever done. Before that, I've actually done another 109-mile event, which was the southern section of the Pennine Way, which they call the Spine Challenger South. But this video is not about me and the event, it's about me and the socks I wore to compete in this event. First of all, what do I put on my feet? For these kind of ultra events, I wear walking trainers, quite top-end walking stroke running trainers with a good, decent walking sole on them, but they're quite lightweight. They should, in theory, be waterproof, but believe me, it was so wet underfoot, the moisture just went through both my trainers and everybody else who was competing in this event. But I'm quite lucky because I was wearing Capricorn Mohair socks. I wore an hour of socks for the whole of the event. Now, what I was doing was, for each of the days, I would change my socks really every 8 to 10 hours. And when I was at a checkpoint, I would see what's called my kit bag. And in my kit bag, I get a change of clothing. And what I would do at each of the checkpoints is change my socks. Also in my rucksack, I carried within a waterproof bag. If people don't know, you get these waterproof bags, which are what we call aqua packs, which keep everything 100% dry. I would carry a spare pair of socks. And usually after 8 to 10 hours, I would change those socks. Now, why red and white, or cream as it is? Cream because it's the natural colour, and therefore I think it's the kindest to my feet. So I normally wear the cream ones, but I'm also a big fan of the red socks. I'll be honest with you, when you're doing these kind of events, mentally, it's just to keep me smiling. I'm a massive fan of a great rugby league team called St Helens Rugby League Football Club, which play in red and white. So actually, that's why I picked my red socks. So actually, when you're feeling a little bit down and you're feeling a bit fed up and beat up about the event that you're doing, to pull on my red socks really does make me smile and think of the hardship often other athletes go through to compete and what they achieve. So red socks for that, and white socks or the cream socks because they're the natural undyed socks. I've talked about this in the past. I wear the natural undyed socks when I'm out walking. Really very kind to your feet. And what I also do is go for a slightly larger sock. I'm a size 10, 10.5 shoe size, but I wear the 11 to 13 in our socks. Believe it or not, and this is going to sound really odd, I wear brand new socks. So I literally get a pack of socks. I'm very lucky, off the shelf here at work, and I put them in. I don't actually wash them all. I wear them brand new, literally out of the bag, and wear them for this event when I do an event like this. Don't worry, they then turn into my training socks and I wear them for my other walks, my other activities I'm doing. But on an event like this, what I've learned by putting on brand new socks, which actually I would have thought would have been the worst thing to do, but over the time I've learned is actually the kindness on my feet. Because what happens with any socks, when you wash them, it just naturally pulls in. Well, I'm wanting a really nice, kind, loose fibre. So wearing brand new socks on this event, every time I change them, is actually, I found out, as being the best for my feet. Now, it's a really interesting event this year because it was so wet underfoot. A number of people even got trench foot, which is from their feet, which comes from their feet being so wet for so long a period. But this was certainly not the case with me. What I would do is when I stopped for my short breaks, I would take my socks off, let them air, then I would put my fresh socks or my new socks back on and ready for the next section. And after that 160 miles, I just ended up with 2 tiny little blisters on my feet. And compared to the other people on the event, it's absolutely it's a miracle really that my feet were so good after that distance. And I do put it down to the mohair socks. I find it really quite amusing because a lot of people in these events have all these technical socks and they've paid literally a lot of money for socks often made overseas, often come from oil derivatives, which many of the sports socks do now. But in my Derbyshire mohair socks from Angora goats, my feet look absolutely superb. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and say actually after 160 miles I was up and running around the house the next day, everything was great. No, it took me a number of days to recover after this event, but I think that quick recovery was aided by my Derbyshire Capricorn Mohair socks. As you can imagine, over that 86 miles, there was a lot of highs and lows. I met some great friends who I walked with during that walk, and I also lost a number of them as they dropped out. A third of the people that started the event actually dropped out and didn't manage to complete the full 160 miles. When you do a train for an event like this, there is a lot of sacrifice to go through. A lot of my family and friends have helped me and supported me as I've trained up to the event. And to be honest, I can't thank them enough for that support. But all I can say is wearing new Capricorn Mohair socks, the Derbyshire socks, over that distance, I was actually even amazed myself about how well my feet performed and put up over the harsh hammering that they got over those 86 hours that I did what's called the Spine Challenger North, which again covers the northern section of the Pennine Way. If you are doing any events like this, get in touch with ourselves. I'm happy to speak to people on the phone. If you've got friends and family doing long distance routes and this kind of thing, get in touch with ourselves. These are our thicker socks. If you are doing lesser distance, especially in summer, you may want to look at our slightly thinner socks, our Ayrshire socks, which have a little bit of lycra in. But even with my walking trainers, the slightly thicker Derby socks were absolutely impeccable and performed as I would have expected them. Again, I've done a lot of training leading up to the event. I've learned what works, what doesn't work. But believe me, our Derbyshire socks certainly worked for this long distance event. I very much hope this helped. If you get any questions or queries about these products or any of the other products here at Capricorn Mohair Socks, please don't hesitate to get in touch.